a lot to me because I know it can turn things around. Again, the education can't get worse. Common Core, we're going to end it. We're bringing education locally. I will fight for every child in this country who deserve better futures. The African American community has heard my message that I am going to make the inner city safe again, and I'm going to bring back jobs, and I'm going to bring back the great education. Don't be surprised. Remember this, November 8th. Don't be surprised because we have been given a lot of support over the last 3 or 4 weeks. If on November 8th, I get more African American and Hispanic votes than anyone thought possible about a month ago. You see what's going on. People are starting to hear about this, and they're saying, wow, they're liking it. And again, can't get any worse. It's going to get a lot better, but only if I do it. They can't do it. The Democrats, what they've done is incredible. And Hillary Clinton will be absolutely more of the same, rigid. It'll never change. Remember, 100 years, 70 years, 50 years, it's not going to change. Not going to happen. Now let's talk about another issue that will define the future of this country for generations to come. The United States Supreme Court. Earlier this year, we lost the great Justice Antonin Scalia. The next president will not only have to fill this seat, but as many as 4 others. It could even be, we could end up with a total of 5 judges by one president. Would be record-setting. Probably be 3. Could be 4, could even be 5. And you pick the wrong people, you have a country that is no longer your country. It will be a disaster. One of the most important issues, frankly, other than maybe defense, because we're going to build up our military, it's so depleted. We're going to take care of our vets. We're going to protect your Second Amendment, so many things. But one of the most important, some people think it's actually the most important, is the filling of the seats, United States Supreme Court. You see what's happening right now. Essentially, it's 4 and 4. And you see how bad it is. We're going to pick great judges. I've already put a list of 11. Federalist Society, highly recommended. Got uniform great reviews on these 11 people. And we are going to put truly great people. Maybe we use Judge Scalia as the ultimate example of what we're looking for, okay? This will determine whether or not we remain a constitutional republic, frankly. That's what's going to happen. I have pledged to appoint judges who will uphold the Constitution, to protect your religious liberty, and apply the law as written. We reject judges who rewrite the Constitution to impose their own personal views on 300 million plus Americans. Not going to have that. I've made public a list of judges, as I said, that will guide my selection process. Hillary Clinton has refused to provide such a list, and we brought it up. Let's see your list. If you ever saw the list, you would walk out of here not feeling very well. Because she knows the extremist judges she would pick would be rejected by the overwhelming majority of the American public. They'd be rejected. Clinton's judicial picks would allow her to completely take over American healthcare, the American economy, and Americans' religious liberty. Not to mention your Second Amendment, which is on very thin ice right now, as you know, because of the fact that we're at 4 or 4. If they even pick one judge who's wrong, you can probably, as you know it, you can kiss the Second Amendment goodbye. And we don't want to see that. Another issue in this race of great importance to everyone in this room is the issue, of course, of national security. Just today, it was announced that North Korea performed its 5th nuclear test, its 4th since Hillary Clinton became Secretary of State. It's just one more massive failure from a failed Secretary of State. It's failed at everything. Her policies have also put Iran onto a path of nuclear weapons, and I have to say, made them overnight an absolute power. They were dying 3 years ago. The sanctions were choking them. They would have fallen, but Obama didn't support people that would have taken over, and I think in this case probably would have taken over the right way. Got no support. But you look at what's happened to Iran in such a short period of time. But remember the ransom payments. Remember it was $400 million 2 weeks ago. But then they made a mistake. This is cash. Remember they said they paid cash because they couldn't open a bank account. There was no way of sending it into a checking account. All lies. Just like Obamacare was a big lie. Remember, you can use your plan, you can use your doctors. 27 times, right? 27 times. Use your doctors, use your plan. Turned out to be a lie. It's all a lie. It's all a big lie. It's a rigged system and it's a lie. And I'll tell you what, the $400 million, for those that have been reading the papers over the last 2 days, turned out to be $1.7 billion in cash. Cash! And I actually said, they said, oh, that money's going to be used for terror. I said, no, they don't need it for terror. They've got $150 billion. That's in addition to the $150 billion that were given back. I said, they don't need it. This is going into their Swiss accounts and going into their accounts. They're not going to use it for terror. They have plenty of money for terror. Think of it, $1.7 billion in cash. Massive, big vats of cash. You saw them. Cartons. Never saw anything like it. I've seen a lot of cash. Tell you, I never saw anything like this. $1.7 billion. Can you imagine these guys? Planes they stop. Remember, they wouldn't give back the hostages. They waited there for hours and hours, and Obama kept saying, no, this has nothing to do. Even the hostages said they kept us waiting for a certain plane to come in, not to take them back, because they were waiting for something. It was this, just another lie. But can you imagine these people sitting there, and they see $1.7 billion in cash? Ay, they think we're stupid. They think we're stupid. They won't be thinking it for long. Very sad. At the same time, ISIS is hunting down what it calls the Nation of the Cross. ISIS is carrying out a genocide against Christians in the Middle East. We cannot let this evil continue. Can't let it. ISIS must be destroyed. Have to. Have no choice. To defeat ISIS, we must use military warfare, but also cyber warfare, financial warfare, and ideological warfare. It's a whole different ballgame today than it was 50 years ago and 200 years ago. Different world. We must also establish a bipartisan goal in the United States and an international goal with our allies of defeating radical Islamic terrorism. Words that our president won't use and words that Hillary Clinton won't use. Just like we won the Cold War by identifying our enemy and building a consensus to guide a long-term strategy, so too must we do the same with Islamic terrorism. By the way, President Obama has allowed Syrian refugees to pour into our country at unbelievable rates. And Hillary Clinton wants to allow 550% more. But it's almost impossible to get a Christian in from Syria. They take others, but they don't take Christians. Very rare, very rare. So I said that we need to make safe zones in the region. We want to take care of people. But we absolutely cannot allow this potential tremendous threat to continue. And we have to stop this. This is going to be potentially a catastrophe for our country. It's from within. This could be the all-time great Trojan horse. This could be it. You ever notice on the, you look at the migration trail and you see people with cell phones. Cell phones. And some of the cell phones have the ISIS flag printed on them. And some of them have things far worse than that. Scenes far worse than that. So it was the failed policies, you have to remember, of Hillary Clinton and Obama that unleashed ISIS in the first place. If they did the right thing, you wouldn't be talking about ISIS right now. Now she wants to get rid of them. Oh, we're going to get rid of them. You know, she tells them already, there will be no boots on the ground. Now, even if you don't want boots on the ground, you don't want to say it. Don't say it. Now they're saying, oh, I hope she wins. Oh, boy, would they dream of having her as president. Can you imagine? They dream about it every night, having Hillary Clinton. But even if you believe, and I can understand that, no boots on the ground, I can understand. You don't say it. Let them think they're going to go through hell. Don't say it. Can you imagine the great General Douglas MacArthur? Can you imagine the great General George Patton, or one of our great generals that we have today, General Flynn, who's here someplace? I love General Flynn. But can you imagine these people saying, I mean, they're basically giving out the strategy. There will be no boots on the ground. If you don't want that, I fully understand. Don't say it. Don't say it. Can you imagine MacArthur saying, we're going to fight the enemy, and we're going to move our troops in about a month. We're going to hit from behind. We're going to hit them from the front. And everything they say turns out to be true. You know, I hate to say this because we have a lot of evangelicals in this room. But maybe we shouldn't be so honest when it comes to military strategy. Does that make sense? Hope I didn't lose your vote for saying that. Just look at what her policies have left us with in Iraq, Syria, and Libya. The problem is Hillary Clinton is trigger happy. She really is. She's trigger happy. And yet she says no boots, which is sort of interesting. Probably will be boots, you know, probably will turn out to be another disaster. Her tenure has brought us only war and destruction and death. She's just too quick to intervene, invade, or to push for regime change with people we don't even know who they are. And they take over and they're far worse. This creates the power vacuums that are filled by terrorists and groups like ISIS. My administration, on the other hand, will work with any country that is willing to partner with us to defeat ISIS and halt radical Islamic terrorism. And by the way, that includes Russia. If they want to join us on knocking out ISIS, that is just fine as far as I'm concerned. It's a very imperfect world, and you can't always choose your friends. It's life. But you can never fail to recognize your enemies. We have some real enemies. Unfortunately for our country, our enemies probably hacked into Hillary Clinton's emails. These are the same emails she destroyed after receiving a federal subpoena. What's that? Using software in order to bleach the emails so you can never, ever see them. She even mysteriously lost 13 different phones before the FBI got them. And many were destroyed with a hammer. Did anybody ever hit a hammer? Well, you know, maybe 2 or 3 people. But they were just released from prison, those 2 people. Now, can you believe this? Destroyed them with a hammer. The old-fashioned way, I guess. The other night, in the Commander-in-Chief Forum, did anybody see that? How did I do? Good. Well, we have a big debate coming up. Who knows what's going to happen there? But I will say, every poll has me winning big league, the Commander-in-Chief.